Good. It's officially recording now. So we are on week 2 right now, and as I stated, the way we're gonna go about this is that because we meet every 2 weeks, Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesdays we will do as many of the sections as we can, and then on Thursday I'll decide which one of these labs to unhide from you, and then we'll do that on Thursday. Sound good? So we'll start with 2.1. Okay. So section 2 mostly covers fundamental data types. Okay. So this is a general section in regards to variables and assignments. So remembering a value. Here's a variation on the common school child riddle. For each step, keep track of the number of current people trying to type in num people box, the box editable. So go ahead and do this participation activity on your screen so that you'll get points for this. So you're driving a bus. The bus starts with 5 people. 3 people get on, right? So when 3 people get on, because there was 5 people already and 3 people got on, the num people would be changed to 8, right? Right. And then when 2 people get off, 8 minus 2 becomes 6. Correct. And then 4 people get off, so 6 minus 4 will become, oh, my bad. And then when 5 people get on, 2 plus 5 will become 7, right? And then 4 people get on, it'll become 11, right? So the purpose of this activity is to show you that data that's in a program doesn't stay static. It changes over time whenever it's acted upon, right? So we can move on to this participation activity. So variables and assignments. In a program, a variable is a named item such as X or num people, right? To hold a value. An assignment assigns a variable with a value such as X equals 5. That assignment means X is assigned with 5, and X keeps that value during subsequent assignments until X is assigned again, right? So an assignment's left side must be a variable, and the right side must be an expression. So an assignment could be X equals 5, or Y equals X, or Z equals X plus 2, so on and so forth, right? We can see this action happening when we do this participation activity. So do we notice that when we set X equal to 5 and Y equal to X, because X was equal to 5, Y becomes equal to 5. Do we notice that? And when we say Z equals X plus 2, because X was equal to 5, X plus 2 is 7, so Z becomes equal to 7. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So when we reassign X to be equal to 3, the 5 is gone, it's replaced with 3. Right? Okay, so one comment that this is making is that these assignments look very similar to algebra. And even though they look similar, they have totally different meanings. So algebra follows the rules of math, but assignments not necessarily, because we're having an effect on the program. Right? Okay. So here's a very important note. Even people make this, programmers make this mistake a lot. This equal sign here does not mean equals. The single equal sign is the assignment operator, okay? So in programming, the equal sign is an assignment of the left side variable with a right side value. It is not equality in mathematics, okay? So I think we understand assignments enough. We can move on to this activity, indicate which assignments are valid. So looking at number 1, x equals 1. Is this a valid assignment?
Yeah.
Yep. What about this one? X equals y?
Yes.
Yep. This is also valid. What about this one? Is this not, is this
valid?
Yeah, it's not valid. Why is it not valid?
Because
equal.
it's the equals no. Because the plus comes before the equal sign.
Yeah, that's right. Because the left-hand side has to be the variable, and just that. It cannot have anything else. So this is invalid. And by that logic, this is also invalid. So far, so good. Okay. So given variables x, y, and z, if x equals 9 and y equals x plus 1, what's y? 10, right? Okay. Same principle here. X equals 9, y equals x plus 1. What is x? It's just 9, right? Because we're changing y with this plus 1. We're not really changing x. But then over here, x equals 9, y equals x plus 1, x equals 5. What is y? It's still 10. Okay. Set the correct value for x, y, and z after the following assignments execute. So how does this work? You just hit start.
Oh, that one you have to press each of the numbers. Like, what would be the output?
Oh, after these 4 lines execute, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So because it ends with x equals 4, we don't care what came before it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So y is 4. That's obvious. Z is 3. So, okay. So I know some students like to do these ahead of time. How many people already went ahead already?
I did some of them. The second one took forever.
The second one took forever?
Yeah, it's 33 points, but it just kept going on and on.
Okay. We can talk about that when we get there. We're almost finished with this section. So, because it ended with 8, 4, and 3. I'm not gonna over-explain this. I think you guys understand, right? So let's just get to section 2 as quickly as possible. Yep. What? Okay. So what's this one about? Assignments with variable on the left and right. This one's a good one to look at. So when an assignment has a variable on the left and the right, for instance, the x is here, but the x is also here, it's still valid. But the thing is, this x here is equal to the x prior to this statement. Okay, so when we say x equals 1, we assign x to be a new value, x times 20. Well, before this statement, x is equal to 1, so we treat this x here to be 1 because that's what it was in the previous statement. So when we say x equals, we say 1 times 20. So after this line executes, x will be equal to 20. Okay. And then because x equal 20 in this line, we treat this to be 20 in this line. So 20 times 20 equals 400. So x ends up being equal to 400 now, right? If anything's confusing, please feel free to stop me. But so far, I think this is pretty easy. Okay. So this is testing your knowledge about assignments with variable on the left and the right. So because we're going to treat this as 5, x will be equal to 12 now. Right? And when this happens, x equals x times y. So 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So after this happens, x will be equal to 6, right? So when this assignment happens, we're saying 6 times y, which is 3. 6 times 3 is 18, right? Makes sense?
Yep.
Okay, so y equals 30 here, right? So x equals y plus 2. So 30 plus 2 is 32, right? So after this line, x equals 32, right? And then when we say x equals x plus 1, 32 plus 1 becomes 33. Complete this assignment to increment y. Y equals does this question make sense to everyone? I can imagine if it would trip people up. But because we're trying to increment, we just add 1 to it, right? So that's why I put y plus 1. Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to section 2.2 now. So who was the one who said that this took forever?
I did. Because you can really see on the sidebar, that's like almost 1/16 or something. Or like 1/8.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
As you can see on the scrolling bar on the side, it's like really small. It's a really long one. It's just like, it goes down quite a while.
Oh, yeah, it is a long one. Okay, that's okay. All right, so variable declarations. So a variable declaration is a statement that declares a new variable specifying a variable's name and type. One example of this is int user age. So in this example, whenever we declare a variable, we need 2 things. The first item needs to be the data type, and the second item needs to be the variable name. Okay, so in this situation, int user age, int is the data type, which stands for integer, right? And user age is the name of the variable. So this participation activity shows what happens when we declare a variable in a program, right? Okay, I'm gonna pause it right here. So when we declare a variable, such as int user age, so a variable of type int is saved somewhere in memory. You don't know where in memory it is because it's randomly accessed, but inside of your computer, you have something called RAM, random access memory. And that memory is just a series of memory addresses, just like this one, okay? So you can see it starts at 96, 97, 98, 99. This is just a random address in memory that the computer just decided to choose to hold this particular variable, right? Now, depending on your computer, there's millions upon millions of memory addresses inside of your computer, right? So this number could go as high as 2 to the 64, whatever that big number is, like 2 to the just know that it's a big number, right? Anyways, but that's what happens when we declare a variable, right? So as of now, this is just a region in memory, okay? We haven't assigned a value to it yet, but that we're about to do that right now. So we see out enter your age. So this is outputted to the screen. And then we prompt the user to enter a variable for user age, right? And then before, this used to be a question mark, but now it has been assigned the value 23 because the user entered 23 in the CN. Does that make sense? So when we output the user's age, we see that user age is 23, and then it outputs the string alongside of it, right? Okay. All right. So declaring integer variables. Capitalization matters. So, oh yeah. This is an important note to make. The variables that you declare, they're case sensitive. So this string name here is not the same as this string because this M is capitalized and this M is lowercase, right? So the first question is declare an integer variable named numPeople, right? And it says do not initialize the variable. In other words, don't set it equal to anything for now, right? So how would we do that? Well, we would do what I said before and first declare the data type. So it'd be int, and then declare the variable name. In this case, the name is numPeople, spelled exactly like this. And then, as always, every line of code needs to end with a semicolon, like that. So this should be correct. Yep. Now, programmers like to name their variables with this kind of in this kind of format where if there's more than one word, the first letter of the first word is lowercase, and then the first letter of every other word is uppercase. This format of naming variables is called Camelcase, in case you wanted to know that. But it's just helpful when we're coding. You don't have to format variables like this. In fact, you can name variables anything you want, provided you coincide with a few rules. For example, I don't think you can name a variable with starting with a number or a symbol. It has to be letters, right? All right, so number 2 says, using 2 statements on 2 separate lines, declare integer variables named new sales and total sales. So this is very easy. They both need to be ints. So we're going to say int. The first variable is new sales, semicolon. And then the second variable is also an int. And then the next one is called total sales, spelled like this. Semicolon. And we can check, and it's right. Is this big enough for people to see? Do I need to zoom in? Or is this all right?
That's good.
Okay. Okay. All right, question 3 says, what memory location or address will a compiler allocate for the variable declaration below, if appropriate type unknown? Where would it store it? Well, because it's a random address in memory, it would be unknown, wouldn't it? I think it must be there. Right. So I understand that that Amira likes to use code blocks, right? Have you touched code blocks at all yet? I'm just wondering.
What was the question?
I know that Amir likes to use code blocks. Have you used code blocks at all yet?
I personally have not yet.
Okay. Well, I've never touched code blocks, but the IDE that I like to use is Visual Studio. If I can, actually, I'll show this to you later. We can move on. So, assignment statements. There's a lot of reading. Do you guys want me to read this out loud, or do you want to read this silently on your own? Okay. So I'll give you a minute to read this silently on your own. I don't think you need me to read it out loud, right? Okay. Okay. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna do something else. Okay. Okay, so have we finished reading this?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, actually, before we move on to this, if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to show you something. So whenever I'm coding my own C++ work, if I'm declaring variables like, let me type some things. So if I say something like int age, like this, and age. If I said C out, age. And then age equals 7. And then C out. So if I said something like this, and then so it won't let me do this. So I can step through the code line by line, right? So over here, I'm going to step through line by line. So when it reaches line 7, a variable called age is put somewhere in memory, right? Right now, the value is a bunch of nonsense, but when we assign 7 to it, age becomes 7. If you look over here in this window, and when I see out age, it see out 7 on this terminal. Oh. Makes sense, right? Well, with this, I actually wanted to show you something else. I wanted to show you what the memory addresses are, but I guess I have to do something different to do that. But anyways, back to this. So
is there a difference between Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code?
yes, there is.
What's the difference?
Well, to be honest, I haven't used Visual Studio Code that much, but my understanding, from what I understand, Visual Studio Code has a lot of well, a friend described it to me. He said that a lot of stuff that you don't use is not added in Visual Studio Code. Like Visual Studio has a lot of extra stuff that I guess you don't use, but I don't know the difference exactly. And to answer your question, Aaron Massey, the name of that compiler that I was using is Visual Studio 2019. I only showed it because that's the compiler I use. If Amir wants you to use code blocks, then you should use that. Okay. In fact, I'll say it in the chat. But it's a good idea to get comfortable coding in several different IDEs. So it's not a bad idea to download that. Anyways, assignment statements. Write an assignment statement to assign num cars with 99. That's very easy. So num cars equals 99. Yep. House size with 2300. Assign num fruit with the current value of num apples. So num fruits equals num apples. Yep. The current value of house rats is 200. What is in house rats after executing the statement below? So because house rats is equal to 200, what is in house rats after executing? Oh, well, the value of house rats would be unchanged because we're not affecting house rats at all. So, right. assign num items with the result of ball count minus 3. Equals ball count minus 3 semicolon. I mean, this is very straightforward, right? And then, well, I'm not going to finish the rest of these. I think these are easy. Let's just move on to this challenge activity. So, this challenge activity says, enter the output of the variable assignments. So when we run this code, we have int x, int y, x gets assigned 8, y gets assigned 5, right? So when we see out this, it seems to me we're gonna see out 8 with a space and then 5, like this. Right? What about this one? Well, the only difference is, in this case, x equals 6. So this would become 6 space 5. Okay. Okay, so in this code, we say x equals 5, y equals 1. But we reassign x to be 8. Right? And then when we see out, we say x space y. So in this case, x would be 8 because we reassigned it, right? So this would be 8 space 1. Right? Y is equal to 5, x equals y. So because y was 5, x and y will both be 5. So 5 space 5. Next. And then this one, y equals 8, x equals y plus 4. Because y is 8, 8 plus 4 would be 12. So we would say 12 space 8. Right? So it's very easy to figure this out if you just remember that the code executes in a linear fashion, right? Top to bottom. So x equals 5, y equals 5, x equals y plus 1. So x becomes 6, y becomes 12. So this would be 6 space 12, right? Yep. Okay. This next one says assigning a sum. Write a statement that assigns num coins with num nickels plus num dimes. For example, 5 nickels plus 6 dimes is 11 coins. Okay. These activities may code with different test values. Okay. So we already have this code given to us, right? So under this comment here, we need to say a line of code that assigns num coins equal to nums nickels plus num dimes. And that's very easy, right? We just do what we've been doing. Num coins equals, and we're going to assign it to something. Num nickels plus num dimes, semicolon. And that should do it, I think. Oh, I spelled nickels wrong. My bad. Okay. Okay, so the next participation activity. declare an integer variable named numdogs, initializing the variable to 0 in the declaration. Oh, you spelled nickel the same way. That's funny. So, anyways, so up until now, when we declare a variable in one line and we assign that variable in another line. So that's two separate lines. But if you wanted to, you don't have to have them be two different lines. For example, like in this program, where we said, in line 6, we declared, we said int num nickels. This is the declaration, right? Let me type here. I was gonna put a comment there, but anyways, this is the declaration and this is the assignment. If you really wanted to, you could have the declaration and the assignment on one line. So instead of having this and then this, you could just say int num equals 5, right? And this one line of code could take the place of this and this. So
could I ask something?
Sure.
As we were saying earlier, like this isn't about this part. It's sort of about like sort of lab or such. The professor had said he was going to release homework and it's going to be due in like 10 days or so.
Yeah.
I was sort of wondering if possibly next Tuesday, since we normally spend Tuesdays just working on this and Thursdays actually doing the lab.
Yeah.
I was sort of wondering if we could use next Tuesday to go over a bit of the homework they'll assign us to see, I don't know, like how to start it, at least like just make sure we're on the right path. Or to ask
do you guys want to do that? So
yeah, next Tuesday if possible.
So next Tuesday, instead of going over the sections, we can look at the homework together. How does everyone else feel about that?
I think that would actually kind of be great.
Yeah.
Because like Zybook is like, simple and you get multiple tries. It's not like we won't get multiple tries, but there's like, it's not going to tell us if we did something wrong in an essence.
Well, actually, Zybooks does tell you if you did something wrong. And
Oh no, I meant like the homework itself.
Oh yeah, the homework, yeah. Well,
it'll guide you in the correct path.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm down to do that if everyone else is. So everyone in the chat seems to agree that, okay. So did he assign homework already?
He was going to give it to us this Thursday. That's why I said
okay.
Like next Tuesday we will have a chance.
Okay. Yeah, we can totally do that. Like, as long as you don't mind doing the Zybooks section 3 stuff by yourself. Okay. He said he posted it already. So it's probably on your Blackboard, huh? Okay.
Yeah, he posted it because someone wanted to take a look at it early.
Okay. If that's the case, I'm going to take tomorrow to download code blocks and try to understand how it works. That shouldn't be too hard. Like, I know all the ins and outs of Visual Studio, so I can probably learn code blocks in one afternoon. But yeah, next Tuesday. If I forget, just remind me. We'll do that. We'll look at that homework together. Okay. Cool. You should let us know which one is better in your opinion. Like, which one's better? Code blocks or Visual? Well, I've never used code blocks before, so I don't have an opinion about it. That's fine. We can talk about it more next Tuesday. So, okay, so this is exactly what I was talking about before. Okay, because you don't prefer code block. So have you guys touched code blocks already?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. We'll talk about it more next Tuesday. Okay. So anyways, this is the same thing that I was talking about before. Or can I go up? Sure. So, and then they combined the declaration and the initialization in one line. So something like this is totally valid, right? Oh, no, the 2, 3. Where is that? Daniel's asking, can you go up to 2, 3? Where's this one? Is this one the one you mean? Oh, you don't mean section 2.3, right? Like this one? No? 2, 3. I see 2.2.1, 2.2.2. Oh, you want to see this? No? Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Okay. So first I'll do this participation activity. So declare an integer named numDogs and set it equal to 0 in the declaration. So that's easy. Int numDogs equals 0. And then this one, declare an integer variable named days count, initializing the variable to 365 in the declaration. That's very easy. Int days count equals 365. Okay. Yeah, this is what they've been saying here when you could put the initialization and declaration in the same line. Okay, and so now we can do this one. Okay. Write one statement that declares an integer variable numHouses to be initialized to 25. So this is the same thing as we've been doing before. So I'm not gonna like say it's like this is super easy. Does anyone want to say the answer? Any volunteers? Want to tell me what to type?
You could put int numHouses equals 25 semicolon.
Yep. And I see the people in the chat. Thank you. Logan and Giovanni. Yep, that's exactly it. Yeah, so yeah, all this is super easy. So, what's this one about? Assignment statement with variable on both sides. Commonly, a variable appears on both the left and the right of the equals operator if num items is 5. After num items equals num items plus 1, it becomes 6. Okay. We can see that happening here with the variables, your friends and total friends. Okay. I'll zoom in so you can see it better. Okay, so the user prompts enters 200 and it's assigned to your friends. And then it says total friends becomes equal to your friends. So both of these become equal to 200. And it says total friends people. Because total friends is 200, it'll say 200, right? Okay, so total friends becomes equal to total friends times your friends. So because it was 204, 200 times 200 is 40,000. So total friends becomes 40,000, like that. And then it says those people know 40,000 people. That's assuming each of your 200 friends has 200 more friends, right? So total friends equals total friends times your friends. So it becomes 8 million, right? And that's assuming that the 200 friends of yours that each have 200 friends also know 200 more friends, right? But now you know how the assignment operator works, right? Okay. So num apples is initially 5. What's num apples after? Well, if it was 5 and we're adding 3 to it, it would become 8, right? Num apples is 5. So num fruits, because num apples is 5, num fruit becomes 5 as well. And num fruits equals num fruit plus 1. So 5 plus 1 is 6. Right? And then write a statement ending with -1 that decreases the value of the variable fly count by 1. That seems simple enough. So fly count equals fly count minus 1. Yep. So so we have 5 minutes left here. For anyone that moved ahead, is there any sections here that anyone had trouble with?
I actually had trouble with the same 2.24 adding adding a number to a variable.
2.24. Did you mean 2.2.4 or?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. This one. Okay, we can do this. All right. It says write a statement that increases num people by 5. If num people is initially 10, the output it will be 15. Okay. So it declares a variable called num people, and the user is prompted to enter a variable for num people, right? So all it wants us to do is increment num people by 5. So it seems to me we're gonna reassign the variable num people, right? Num people, and we're gonna set it equal to itself, right? Num plus 5, right? Because we need to increment it by 5. I believe this should work, right? Yep. There you go.
Thank you.
So what is it exactly that tripped us up about this one? Were we just confused?
It was just confusing wording. Like
Oh,
it
okay.
kind of didn't get me like what to do on.
Okay, that's fine. Is there any other sections that anyone else had problems with? Because I know that there's some people who go ahead, go back to it. Oh, this one? Okay. Yeah. I'll zoom in a little more. Okay. All right, so yeah, I'm not gonna go over these. Well, actually, we already did these, so. Okay, so here's a little section called common errors. hold on. Brandon Vasquez in the chat says, input user adds the value with the C in. Oh, talking about this thing. So, so as for this, so I can see that some people are a little confused about this thing. So this C in here means that the user is given the choice to enter whatever value they want for num people, right? So in this challenge activity, there's a series of tests where the user enters 10 and then 99 and then 0. So what it needs to see is that the input should be, if it was 10, it should change to 15. If it was 99, it'll change to 104. And if it's 0, it would change to 5, right? So to answer your question, Mr. Slayman Toki, no, the user enters a value for num people. We don't set it in the program. You were probably thinking of something like this, right? Num people equals 10 or something like that. Yeah, but we're not changing it in the program. We're giving the user the freedom to enter whatever they like using this line. Okay. So now that that's cleared up, we can talk about common errors now. So looking at number 1, 21 equals dog count. Why is this? Actually, let me go back because Daniel has a question. Yours won't work for num people. Well, did you spell num people the way you did in the chat? Because it's case sensitive, so the P needs to be capitalized. It is? So you're saying that, so Daniel, you're saying that this line of code isn't working for you? Why is that? What kind of feedback does it give you if you try to run it? It says expected, quote, quote, before colon. All right. Oh, yeah, Daniel, Jose Garcia is probably right. You probably just forgot to put the semicolon at the end. Is that the case? So if I miss a semicolon, I'll probably get the same error as you did. Yeah. Expected semicolon before. Oh, you fix it? Okay, great. Just making sure. I don't want anyone to get lost. All right, perfect. So now we can finish this up with talking about common errors, okay? So looking at number 1, it says 21 equals dog count. Is this an error or no? What do you guys think? It is? Well, you're right. Why is it an error though? It's because the variable name needs to go on the left, right?
Is it because since the name isn't defined, it's going to read 21 first and it's not going to register because it needs the variable name?
Yes. The variable name needs to be on the left and the assignments, it needs to be on the right. That's exactly it. Okay. All right. Next one. Int amount owed equals -999. How do we feel about this? Is this an error or no? No error. Exactly. Okay. So the last one. Int num days and int num years. Yeah. It's an error. Wait. Oh no, it's not. Oh, it's not an error. I was gonna say it's an error because these values aren't assigned yet, but apparently. Oh, it is an error. My bad. Yeah. So the problem with this is that num days and num years were not assigned yet. So to fix that, you would have to set them equal to something. Visual Studio does the exact same thing. If you try to use a variable without assigning it first. So if I said if I didn't say age equals 7, you would see, yeah, it would throw an error because if you look in the errors list, it says uninitialized local variable age used, and it's uninitialized. So I would have to set this equal to something like 10. So be very careful when you're using variables that aren't assigned yet. Okay. Okay, so we finished section 1.1 and 1.2, and they seem very straightforward. I hope that the other sections are just as easy, right? So to the people that went ahead, did anyone have any problems with any of the other sections? Everything is pretty easy. Okay. Okay, that's good to know. And remember, if you have any issues with any of the sections, because this isn't due until a week from now, right? We can talk about it Thursday, right before we do the labs. And as you can see, there on my screen, there's 5 labs here. I'm gonna unhide a couple of them. I think I'm gonna give you 2, maybe 3. And then we'll talk about that more Tuesday. So yeah, this pretty much wraps up the end of this meeting. So I'll trust you guys to do the rest on your own time. I know that it's a lot, but the upside is that it's easy. So is there anything else that we need to discuss before I end this meeting? I'll be putting this recording on Blackboard. And as I promised, we can talk about Amir's homework next Tuesday if that's what you guys want. I don't mind. Jose Garcia says, I fear the day when it is both long and hard.
Like when the assignments become, if there's like a lot of them and it's hard.
Yeah. So in case you guys didn't know, I taught CSE2010 Q2S, which is the bridge course, last semester. And the sections that I had the longest time having to teach was classes. I believe it's down here somewhere. Yeah, classes. Oh, it takes 2 weeks to talk about classes. I took 2 weeks talking about classes too. So it has inheritance. Does it have overloading anywhere?
So is it like basically it crammed together, or what's the difference?
The difference between what?
The CSE 210 and then the CSET QRS.
Oh, there's no difference in the coursework. It's just It's a course that needed to exist because of the whole quarter to semester conversion.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the only thing. So, hold on. I want to know does this section talk about overloading at all? Inheritance is good. Recursion is good. Nothing on overloading.
It's overloading.
Oh, overloading. Overloading is well, I'm not going to talk about too much since it's not in this course, but overloading is where you extend the definition of operators to apply to data types that you create. That's all it is.
Is it in one of those hidden ones or no?
In the hidden ones? I don't think so. Well, overloading's not that important. If you have to choose, these obviously take priority, and that's okay. All right, so I'm about ready to wrap this meeting up now. I'll be putting this recording on Blackboard. So is there anything else we need to discuss? Or I'll just see you guys next Tuesday or Thursday?
I personally think that's everything.
Okay, awesome. So I'll send an email to the entire class with this recording momentarily, and then yeah, I'll just wrap this up. So thank you guys for coming. I'll see you guys. Hold on.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a good night. I'll see you guys next Thursday. Goodbye.